Hello everyone. This is Dr. Ruchika Pal, Assistant Professor in Suresh Gyan Bihar University. I'm continuing my third video of amputation, and this is now I'm covering prosthetic stage. The learning objective of this prosthetic stage is just that main aim at this stage. So to understand the component of prosthesis, to independently fitting and removing of prosthesis and checking its fits, to care of prosthesis, to independent mobility with or without walker, to enable functional tasks with prosthesis, to enable occupational and leisure activities, to enable to enable to cope up with the falls. As prosthetic stage has occurred, amputation has done. Now the rehabilitation part is cover up now. The aim of the rehabilitation is to add the amputee to gain independence at the highest level they can with the most efficient gait possible. The assessment must take into account the physical capabilities, level of amputation, psychological status, pre amputation function, existing medical conditions, and patient's expectations. Rehabilitation should begin 5 days post operative or post surgical conditions. Now, it's a crucial element of constructing a rehabilitation program is sound gait analysis. This will largely be observational or validated outcome measures are available to aid goal settings and measure functions. So in this video, I will tell you about the gait analysis, about the rehabilitation part after the amputation, or the other things which is related to the prosthesis also. So these are of the all of these phases. A rehabilitation treatment plan is utilized to guide the care of an individual who has undergone an amputation. Now the treatment plan is based on evaluation by all specialties involved in the rehabilitation process and act as a guide for all team members to address goal important to the patient and family. Now, the level of rehabilitation intervention is contemplated from the date of admission to the hospital and determined after the amputation surgery and prior to discharge from the hospital. So, now the rehabilitative process includes ongoing medical assessment of impairments, therapy interventions to address disabilities or activity limitations. So these are all the things which we have to go through the rehabilitation after amputation. This is that we have to plan or we have to make a protocol. A physiotherapist have to make a protocol according to the amputation. The success of rehabilitation depends on variables such as level and type of amputation, type and degree of any resulting impairments and disabilities. Overall health of the patient is important. Family support, yes, this is the main power, or you can say this will increase the willpower of the patient to become healthy. Now, it is important to focus on maximizing the patient's capabilities at home and in the community. Positive reinforce helps recovery by improving self-esteem and promoting independence. The rehabilitation program is designed to meet the needs of the individual patient. Active involvement of the patient and family is vital to the success of the program. Now, the goal of the rehabilitation after amputation is to help the patient return to the highest level of function and independence possible to perform his activities of the daily living, or you can say that patient will perform his activities of daily living without dependency on the other person. In starting, it is very much difficult physically, emotionally, and socially also, but we have to improve, or by improving the overall quality of life including the physically, emotionally, and socially. So in order to help reach these goals, amputation rehabilitation program is planned by the physiotherapist or by the occupational therapist or by the orthopedician, so that we have to follow this. So these are the types of prosthesis. Now, temporary prosthesis is there. It takes approx 2 weeks manufacture, quick and easy to manufacture, cheaper and lighter and relatively simply to apply. Allow time for stump shrinkage to take place, final or definitive prosthesis. It takes 2-3 months to manufacture, measurement taken after shrinkage completed. So this is the type of the processes. First, we have to apply the temporary processes. Then second is the finally definitive processes. It always depends upon that how we are applying the temporary processes and the definitive processes. So this is about the, in order to help reach these goals, the amputation rehabilitation program is to treatment to help improve wound healing and stump care, activities to help improve motor skills, restore activities of daily living, and help the patient reach maximum independence, exercise that promotes muscle length or muscle strength, endurance and control, fitting and use of artificial limb, that is the prosthesis, pain management for both post-operative and phantom pain, sensation of pain that occurs below the level of amputation. So this is the phantom pain management is very much necessary. Emotional support to help during the grieving period and with the readjustment of a new body image. Use of assistive devices, that is the processes which we are applying. Nutritional counseling to promote health, healing and health. Vocational counseling, adapting the home environment for ease of function, safety, accessibility, and mobility. Patient and family education. Yes, it is important, patient and family education. So, this is the you can say overview, or we can go for that the how we are applying this temporary assessment, temporary processes, and the final definitive processes. The basic feature of processes: there is a socket. It provides weight bearing and receptive area of the stump. Interface between the patient and the prosthesis. Now, suspension, it holds the prosthesis to stump. You can see in the diagram also. First one is the socket. So this is the socket in which the stump will be the fix. It provides weight bearing and receptive area of the stump. Interface between the patient and the prosthesis also. This is the socket will provide this. Suspension, hold the prosthesis to stump. Joints, amputated joints are replaced with the artificial mechanical joints. Base provides contact with the floor. So this is about the basic feature of the prosthesis. Now, what are the you can say what are the basic features of the prosthesis? Again, is the metal, steel, and other alloys are applied for hip and knee mechanism. Dura aluminum for the rock socket and outer shell. These are the specific metal, or these are the specific metals which are required for making these prosthesis, as it is very much comfortable for the body. Or leather, soft leather for straps, hardened leather for thigh corsets. Plastics, thermoplastic materials like polypropylene for sockets, plastic formed to support distal tissue of a stump. Wood, preferred as a socket material and prosthetic feet in the tropical climate. Now, factors which we need to consider before prescribing prosthesis. So there are different type of the factors which we need to consider for the prosthesis, as it all depends on these factors, just as the age, general physique of patient. Age is very much quite related, because if the patient is of the young age, then the skin is very much in healthy condition, or you can say skin metabolism is good, or the metabolism of the person is good, so that the healing power is also good. But in the old age, the skin become loosen up, so it can be related to the other things. So age is the factor. General physique of the patient is very much required. If the patient is obese, if the patient is you can say that as the patient is obese, or patient is of the another different conditions. Mental conditions is also there. Length of the stump, mental condition. If the patient is you can say after this amputation, where already patient is suffered from other patient can be suffered from depression or some different kind of the mental situations. So if the patient is already suffer from these things, or either patient is suffer from other mental conditions, then the we need to handle the prosthesis according to that. we need to counsel the patient for the betterment of the treatment, or you can say betterment of the prescribed condition. So that is the thing which need to require for the mental conditions. Length of the stump is also important, as the socket will be found, as the socket will be made according to the length of the stump. Status of stump circulation. So status of some stump circulation is different. What is the status of stump circulation? Is there any other kind of infection? Is there stump is healthy or not? The blood circulation is maintained over there or not? If the patient do any exercises, what happened to the stump, or what is the circulation basis of the stump? So this we need to require, or this we need to check out for the status of the stump circulation. Level of amputation. Yes, level of amputation is also important. As such, we need to prepare the prosthesis also, or we need to check out the level of the stump also, and the length of the stump also, or how much we can apply for the prosthetic conditions. Strength, range of motion, and mobility related body segments. So strength and range of motion and mobility related to the body segment. Requirement of job and daily living. So this is also the important, the strength. What is the strength of the patient? Range of motion, how much range of motion is acquired by the patient? Mobility related body segment is there or not? How much the mobility is acquired, or you can say how much mobility is remains? Requirement of job and daily living. What is the condition of the patient at home, or you can say what kind of the daily living activities he has to perform for his the for his processing of the for this processment, or you can say what kind of the job he is doing. So that need to be considered for the prescribing any prosthesis. Now, processes for lower limb amputation. These are the different things. So depending upon the level of amputation, we need to prescribe the processes, or what kind of the processes we will go for the lower limb amputation. So transmetatarsal is, if the level of amputation is the transmetatarsal, then we need to consider different processes. If then below knee is there, so in the below knee we need to consider different processes. That is the patella tendon bearing is amputation, or is the above knee, below knee, though both amputation is there. So what kind of the processes we will go for that? Mid thigh. If the amputation is done from the mid thigh. So there are different type of the processes we will go for that. So these are the kind of the processes which will go for the different condition. That is, first one is for the below knee amputation. Second one is the patella tendon bearing. So this is the patella tendon bearing below knee amputation, and this is above knee amputation. See the socket and the other joint and the base of the support. You can see the differences also. And this is the metatarsal head. So this is the different type of the processes which we will go for the amputation. Now, re-education with the prosthesis. This is the main important part, or you can say important part of the rehabilitation process after the amputation. This is very much necessary, as we need to re-educate the patient for the other things. If the patient is of the lower limb amputation, we will go for the gait training, we will go for another conditions. So this is the re-education with processes. After satisfactory fitting of processes, the process of training and re-education begins. It includes the following: correct methods of applying and removing of processes. Yes, when we have applied for the when the physiotherapist is prescribed for the correct prosthesis, that this prosthetic or this product will be applied to this kind of the amputation. After satisfactory fitting of that prosthesis to the stump, to the other things, so the process of training and re-education begins. Now, correct method of applying and removing. Yes, this is important, as how we are applying how we are connecting the processes to the stump, or to the part, to the amputated part, or how we are removing it. because there are a lot of, there are straps also there, there is buckle also there. So we need to improve the, we need to go for that correctly applying and removing of processes, as the it will not harm the skin, it will not harm the stump. And the prosthetic, which is the prosthesis, or the implant which you are using is perfectly done, or you can say it will be better be in that condition. No prosthetic will be destroyed. Early detection of any complication due to processes. Some complications can also be occur, as it is starting fixing the stump, or you can say the it is fixing to the stump. So that can be related to the any complications. You can say patient can feel that the it is little bit looser, it is little bit tight enough, or the stump skin, if the patient is of the old age and the skin is not good, then stump is attaching, or you can say attaching to the skin, or it is not feeling, the patient is not feeling comfortable in the re-education, or you can say training process. Function of various component of prosthesis. There are different components of the prosthesis applied, so that can be, you can say go for that, we will go for the various component of prosthesis functions are performing very well or not. Limitation of activities with prosthetic limb. Yes, it occurs as limitation of activities with prosthetic limb occurs, because there's a lot of limitation is will be there in this amputation competitive condition. So this can be done otherwise in the different things. So it is again we will go for that ki what are the re-education processes we will in the processes. We will the patient will taught to move up and down, side to side on bed by pressing on the sole of the stump. This is the beginning, you can say. We are going for the taught to move up and down, side to side, only on the bed, not in the standing condition or not in that condition. Sitting up from lying by pushing down with the arm. Begin when the drip are removed. So these are the conditions. Sitting up from lying by pushing down with the arm. Begin when the drip are removed. So these things which we start, the patient will move up and down, side to side, sitting up from lying, or then pushing down. Good trunk rotation will make all reaching function easier. So this can be done in the re-education processes. Functional training should start as soon as the patient is able to do that, according to physically, according to the mental condition also, and according to the family support. Sometimes patient is physically fit, but mentally he is not achieving all these things, or he is not coping up with the amputation process. So functional training will be there. We will try to start the functional training as soon as possibly in the hospital stage of the patient, or you can say in the clinical in the rehabilitation stage of the patient. The exercises program should consist of resisted pulley work. This is the resistive exercises which will we go for the in the this exercise program. Mat exercises, if the patient is comfortable for the mat exercises, or the patient can able to the mat exercises, we will go for the mat exercises also. Slow reversible or repeated contractions we will given to the patient. With these are the slow techniques which we apply in the amputation rehabilitation. The patient must be encouraged to be as independent as possible. As I have told you earlier, the patient should be encouraged by physically also, mentally also, and socially also, and to make him independent as soon as possibly. This is all done by the, you can say, physiotherapist positive behavior, or a patient's willpower can be done into this independency. Pharmacological reactions, oh sorry, pharmacological treatment. So these are the pharmacological treatment. The injection with steroid or local anesthetic has reduced the pain temporarily. We can go for these treatments for the in the rehabilitation process also. We will reduce the pain and to re-educate the training processes, or you can say the training process started when we will go for these things. Intrathecal or epidural anesthetic with opioids used successfully. These treatments will be given to the patient. Non-invasive treatments such as ultrasound icing, ultrasound icing, TENS or massage has been used. These are the physiotherapeutic treatments for the pain relief and for the rehabilitation, starting of the rehabilitation training. These all treatment can cure your treatment of the phantom pain also. So that can also be in the different part. Treatment of phantom pain, other methods are there. Mild non-narcotic analgesics will be given to the patient. Biofeedback is also very helpful. Psychotherapy can be also done for the phantom pain treatment. Nerve block and dorsal rhizotomies have been used with inconsistent result. So these are the treatment for the phantom pain. As we require to release the phantom pain for the rehabilitation process, the patient will be much more comfortable in doing this rehabilitation training. So this is the important thing. Few types of rehabilitation program is also done for the amputation. There are variety of the treatment program: acute rehabilitation programs, outpatient rehabilitation programs, day treatment programs, and vocational rehabilitation programs. Now we will forward to the gait training. This is also an important thing. After the prosthetic application, or we have selected the prosthetic, we have selected the implant, we have selected the procedure, or we will go through that stage. Now the stump fixing is also there. Now what happen if the lower limb amputation is there? We will go for the gait training. The gait training is, you can say, gait training is the training of the patient in the walking habits, or you can say we will go for the gait pattern. We will change the gait pattern of the patient will be the change. So we will analyze the gait, or how we will go for the rehabilitation in the gait training. So gait analysis consists of observation of the gait, which should occur from all angles. Knowledge of normal gait patterns for the prosthetic and non-prosthetic user is required to help analysis of movement. On observation of the gait, the assessor compares the function of the amputee to expected pattern of gait and look for deviations. Analysis of the gait pattern will help determine why these deviations are occurring. This will then help to formulate the rehabilitation program, which includes the correction of the deviation. Outcome measures can be used to monitor progresses. So this is the analysis of the gait pattern, which we can go for that. Amputee should perform pre-prosthetic exercise to help maintain range of motion and improve muscle strength in the lower limb and residual limb in the preparation for using the prosthetic limb. Abdominal and back exercises should also be considered to help trunk control and reduce back pain. Pre-prosthetic limb exercises can help prevent the occurrence of the prosthetic gait deviation. As we are starting the gait training, so sometimes what happen, due to the loss of the limb, the amputee will automatically shift their center of gravity over the foot of the non-prosthetic side. After an amputation, there will be a period of time when the amputee is without a prosthesis. This is due to the time frame of the assessment required to decide if the provision of a limb is appropriate or not. Now, during this period, the amputee will become familiar with the shifted center, which will increase the difficulty of reorientation of the center of gravity once they receive a prosthetic limb. Now, what happened in the gait training in if evaluation in the gait evidence of the gait training, the with the lower limb amputation, we need to found that gait training is needed due to improve asymmetry, change in biomechanics, and related secondary consequences after an amputation. Both overground and treadmill based rehabilitation was included for this review. Now, these are the results which show the following interventions are effective in improving gait are overground training with verbal, manual, or psychological awareness interventions. Treadmill based training, both as a supplement to overground, as a home exercises, or on its own with visual feedback or with the body weight support. So, next we will go for that. Now, common abnormalities in walking with prosthesis, as I have mentioned, well, there are different type of the training will be there. The common problems encounter in walking with the prosthesis can also be divided into the stance phase problem or the swing phase problem. The stance phase and swing phase is in the gait pattern, and is you can study the gait in my next videos. We will go for that stance phase and swing phase in the different in the normal gait pattern, and as I have told you in the class also. Stance phase problems with a below knee prosthesis. Problems commonly encountered in the stance phase of walking with the prosthesis include buckling of the knee, snapping back of the knee, foot slapping, and vaulting. These are the common problems which occurs in the stance phase of walking with a prosthesis. Buckling of the knee will be the buckle, snapping backward foot of the knee, foot slapping, the foot will be but a slap, vaulting is different condition. Now, what happens in the reason for the knee buckling? So, if we talk about the knee buckling, we will already go for that. Knee buckling is there in the complications for the in the complications of the amputation. So what happened? Why the knee buckling is there? This is a complication, or you can say common problem which we occur after the knee, after the rehabilitation process or the retraining process after the prosthetic stage. Weak quadriceps is there. Can't straighten the knee when heel strikes the ground. This is the result of the weak quadriceps. This can be corrected by the muscle strengthening program. Of the muscle strengthening will be there of the knee quadriceps. So pain from an ill-fitting socket, changing the socket might solve the problem. Now, poorly aligned prosthetic foot or one with a heel that is too hard, these also can be corrected. Now, in this problem, poorly aligned prosthetic foot. If the prosthetic foot is the poorly aligned, or one with a heel that is too hard, or you can say we need to correct this poorly aligned prosthetic foot, as it is the ill fitting socket is there, the stumps of fitting is not correct, so the weight of the patient on that prosthesis is not perfectly aligned, so that can lead to the knee buckling also. Causes of snapping back: weak thigh muscles. It includes your quadriceps and hamstring both. Poor alignment of the socket and the foot. As I have already told you, the stump should be fixed in the socket, or the stump should be perfectly fixed in the socket, not loosen up, not too much tighten up. So that can be the cause of the snapping back also, that the poor alignment of the socket and the foot. Fear of knee buckling is offset by keeping the knee as straight as possible when heel strikes in early stance phase. In the early stance phase, what happened when the patient is fearing of the knee buckling, that my knee got buckled or my knee got push out, or you can say my knee got off out to the offset by the walking. So this fear lead the patient to make the knee as straight as possible. So if you are keeping your knee in the straight in the stance phase, you can't move forward to the other thing. One way of keeping it straight is to snap the knee back. Now over time, this can cause pain and deformity in the knee. So where what happened in the on the way of keeping it again state to state, the snap the knee become the backing. Over time, this can cause pain and deformity in the knee. Sometimes it leads to the pain and deformity in the knee. A good muscle strengthening program for the thigh muscle is important to overcome this problem. Additionally, your prosthetic can check the socket to ensure that there is a good fit and alignment. What happened? We will go for the good strengthening program for the thigh muscle to improve the to overcome the problem. Additionally, your prosthetic can check the socket to ensure that there is a good fit and alignment. Now, causes of slapping. This we need go for the knee buckling is there, knee snapping is there. Now, what happened in the cause of slapping? A prosthetic foot that slaps the floor while walking can be the result of a problem with socket alignment of the foot. Main thing is that you need to align, you need to make the physiotherapist or the occupational therapist who are making the prosthetic or who are making that prosthesis according to the stump, it is very much correctly aligned or other things. For example, there may be slapping sound if the foot is pointing up too much when the heel strikes the ground. It's just like this. So this may be the slapping sound if the foot is pointing up too much, pointing up too much. Now the pointing up too much is there. If it is the foot, then if heel strike is there, then you will go for that foot, foot downwards, or you can say foot will go. The sound will be the according. The sound will be between the foot and the your ground. This can potentially cause the knee to buckle. That can lead to the buckle. Vaulting. It is the term used when you lift your body up onto the ball of a sound foot in order to swing your prosthetic forward. We will go for the vaulting. You can see in the diagram. Now, this first stage will be there, stance phase is there, heel strike. Now, the toe off is there, and we will go for the swing phase. What happen if you are lifting this leg, your heel of the other foot, which is healthy, will again up to the lifted in the air. So that is the both. You can say this is in the swing phase, and this is not in the stance phase. This is not. This is again in the swing phase also. So that is the causing the vaulting. Reasons for vaulting: the process is too long, and as a result, you feel that you are going to trip over it as you walk. You will feel that the process is too long, or you can say that if the process is too long, and as a result, you feel that you're going to trip over, you are going to fail, or you can say you are going to fall on the ground. So that can lead to as a vaulting. It is compensated by raising entire body off the ground with sound foot. So this is the compensation which the patient does. It is, you can say, it is a tricky moment which the patient is done by the which is done by every patient when the patient is suffer from the conditions. So the patient, the other foot is compensating by raising entire body off the ground with the sound foot. Other reasons include inadequate suspension of the prosthesis or an ill-fitting socket. What happened in the other reasons? It includes inadequate suspension of the processes or an ill-fitting socket. These problems can be addressed by correcting the length of the prosthesis. Now, these are the problems which can be addressed by the length of the prosthesis. The main the stages of that we have to consider that the prosthesis stage or the processes which we have prepared, which we have made, so that can lead to the prosthetic stages. So even amputees who have worn a prosthesis for years can benefit from gait training. So this is the important thing. This could be in the form of occasional visits to the therapist for a tune-up, or it could be learned in a new skill such as walking, step over step stairs, walking on uneven terrain, or even running. So these can lead to the. This is the thing which we need, which the patient has to go through the, you can say, gait training. Now next is Swing phase problem with a below knee prosthesis. Now, the problems encountered during the swing phase are related to inability to advance the leg. This may be result of the prosthesis being too long. Swing phase, the patient leg is in the swinging or phase, or you can see the patient leg is in the air. So if the prosthesis is the long, if it is too long, it is the suspended in the air, and the patient will feel that the socket is not fixed in the prosthesis, and what happened in that patient will not be gain the confidence. Being inadequately suspended or having a contracture at knee which limits the ability to flex the and extend the knee effectively. Pain from a poorly fitting prosthesis or fear of taking steps may affect swing phase. Having a contracture at knee which limits the ability to flex the extend the knee effectively. Now it will, you can say, the patient can have the contracture at knee. Now it can limit the ability to flex, because as the contracture is there, so the knee flexion, the problem will be there in the knee flexion and extend the knee effectively. Pain from a poorly fitting prosthesis or fear of the taking steps may affect the swing phase. As as I have clearly mentioned you about that, if the prosthesis is not fitted to the stump or to the particular condition, then what happen? The pain will be there or the fear will be there to initiate the step or to go to the next step of the patient, to go to the next step or to forward in the next step in the upswing phase. Now, swing phase problems with the below knee prosthesis. Again, in the continuity, these all are the correctable. The length of the prosthesis can be adjusted according to the patient's stump, according to the patient walking pattern, according to the different condition, or the suspension can be improved. Now, gait problems in the after knee amputees. What happened in the gait problems in the after knee amputees? The most common problem encountered by the after knee amputee is flexion and extension of knee during the stance phase. May feel that the knee will buckle and cause to fall. As a result, fearful of walking and take small cautious steps to compensate. This problem can be corrected by changing the alignment of the knee to make it more stable during stance phase. So these are the gait problems in the after knee amputees. What happened? The most common problem is the flexion and extension of knee during the stance phase. Because it is the above knee amputation, you need the flexion and extension is done by the prosthesis. So you can go, the patient will not feel that the extent, or you can say the patient will not feel the flexion and extension. May feel that knee will buckle and cause to fall. This is again, patient will feel that some my knee will got buckle up, or you can say my knee, I will fall, or under the condition the confidence of the walking is will not be there. As a result, fear of full for walking will be there, and take small caution steps to compensate. This problem can be corrected by changing the alignment of the knee to make it more stable during stance phase. Now, what happened in the other cases? Knee buckling during stance phase that are not related to the use of the prosthesis. So, example is according to weak gluteal muscles on the prosthetic limb. This can be remedied by strengthening program. Prosthesis stick out away from the body during stance phase as a result of muscle imbalance between adductor and abductor. Prosthesis stick out away from the body during stance phase as a result of muscle imbalance and between adductor and abductor. As such, when we are when we are going for the gait training, before gait training we need to strengthen up the muscles, our quadriceps, I, our hamstring, gluteal muscles of the affected limb, both affected and non affected limb. And because as such you have seen that if the gluteal muscle is weak, the prosthesis can just stick out away from the body, and muscle imbalance can occur between the adductors and abductors. Strengthening of adductor muscle group is important. All the strengthening of the muscle group is important for the gait before the gait training. Too much bending of trunk during stance phase. This can result from an ill-fitting socket or short prosthesis or weak hip muscles. So the patient will tend to bend his trunk during the stance phase, and that can result with the ill-fitting socket, a short prosthesis, or weak hip muscles. Vaulting can be seen with an above knee prosthesis, same as the below knee prosthesis. It can be caused by prosthesis that is too long or inadequately suspended. So these are the gait problems which is faced by the above knee amputation. Circumduction is the term that is used to describe a wide arc-like movement of the prosthetic limb during swing phase. The patient will move like this. Patient will go for the not like this good gait training. He will go for this gait training. He will use his hip joint for the circumduction movement, and this is the wide arc-like movement of the prosthetic limb during swing phase. Typically, it results from a prosthesis that is too long. Now the prosthesis may appear to be too long if the suspension is inadequate or the prosthetic knee does not bend. Now, as I have mentioned that we need to go for the importance of the muscle strengthening. So what is the importance of the hip muscles is there? It is the weakness in key muscle group around the hip, and contracture or tightness of the hip joint can have a profound impact on ability to walk with a prosthesis. It can make walking awkward and forced to use more energy than it should. It may become overcautious every time they take a step. So importance of the hip muscle is that if the muscle should be strengthened up so that the hip contractures will be not there, the tightness of the hip joint will not be there, or the ability of the walk will not be the hamper with the prosthesis. Four key muscle group in the hip is the hip flexors, are responsible for advancing the leg forward during swing phase. It may find it difficult to advance the limb during swing phase if they are weak. Now, hip extensors help pull the leg backward, stabilizing it during the stance phase. If they are weak, they may be buckling or unsteady sensation at heel strike the ground during the stance phase. Every phase required this. Hip abductors pull the leg away from the body. They will walk with an excessive bending of trunk if the abductors are weak. Hip abductors Hip adductors pull the prosthetic leg towards the body. They will walk with the prosthetic limb extended away from the body if they are weak. So this is the hip abductors, and adductors are also very important. So they need the prosthetic leg, or you can say attachment of the prosthetic leg, or maintaining the prosthetic leg get training is important. They will walk with the prosthetic limb extended away from the body if they are weak. Now, gait training should be performed in front of the full length mirror to observe and correct any fault. This is with the parallel bar. Increase the walking time each day. If the patient is walking in the first time up to the 5 minutes, then we have to increase up to the 7 minutes, then move forward to the 10 minutes, and so on. Inspect the stump at the end of the day. Young fit amputees will require 1 week training. Elderly will require 2 week or more training. Training in parallel bar. Standing balance with equal weight on both legs. Correct method of weight transfer on individual leg. Weight transfer on both legs alternatively. PNF techniques of resistive gait, rhythmic stabilization, and approximation are emphasized. Yes, these PNF techniques are very much important. Normal coordinated stepping with both hand support, progress to single hand support. Again, raising, this is the training in the parallel bar, raising to standing from sitting and back, sidewalk and turning. Reasonable gait progression is made by page walking with one stick in appropriate hand. A home visit should be made prior to discharge from the hospital to check out the patient. An assessment for floor coverings, stairs, steps, door widths necessary for ramp. Additional rails, access to bathroom facilities in kitchen for cooking and washing. Proximity of the shops. Final rehabilitation. So it is a final rehabilitation. We will go for that final rehabilitation in the different stages. So in the gait training, we will go for the final rehabilitation also. It involves the patients returning to a normal activity daily life, participation in sports such as squash, tennis, golf, functional independent in case of elderly, falling without injury, set a follow. So suggestions for modifying home to prevent falls. General, remove loose rugs. Chair could have arms free of clutter. Adequate lighting will be there in these are the general suggestions. Specific for the specific rooms, for the bathroom, grab bars in the tub. A tub bench or seat will be there, so the patient will be comfortable, and handheld shower head will be there. Adequate lighting should be there. Non-skid mats for not slipping. Any elevated toilet seat will be there. Bedroom flashlight in nightstand will be there. Now, weight issues in walking with a prosthesis. It is important to discuss any weight gain or loss with a prosthesis and prosthesis and physician. Change in prosthesis may be necessary if unable to lose weight. These changes may include the fabrication of a new socket. Now, follow-up visit to rehab clinic is also important. Tell your doctor if you're experiencing any of the following areas of redness, cuts or skin irritation on the residual limb, areas of pressure over bones on residual limb, falls or near falls, phantom pain, low back pain, sensation that are the residual limb moving up and down within the socket, that is called the pistoning. This is similar to walking with a pair of shoes that are too big. And ill-fitting processes, a pain in the residual limb when putting on the processes or taking it off, pain in the opposite remaining lower limb. Now, role of rehab team in the follow-up visits: examine skin of residual limb for any evidence of blisters, infections, or abnormal areas of the pressures or bones. Also, examine skins on opposites remaining limb. Check the range of motion of the residual limb for the presence of a contracture. Examine the strength of the arms and legs and ability to get up from a seated position. Examine the gait with the prosthesis for a short distance to see if there are any alignment or fit problems with the prosthesis. After this short period of ambulation, skin should be checked again for any areas of abnormal pressure of the bones. Now, this is about the gait training and the prosthetic stage. We will go for the multiple choice question to evaluate how much we have studies or what kind of the things we have done in the multiple choice questions. Now, among these, what is not source of the following gait deviation? Circumduction. Extension assist is too strong. Weak hip abductors. Medial brim of the socket impinges soft tissue during swing phase. Prosthesis has been excessively lengthened up medical way. So we have studied about the circumduction over the previous slides. This is the correct answer is the weak hip abductors. What is Symes amputation? Amputation of knee, amputation of middle finger, amputation of ankle joint, amputation of metatarsal. Few amputation is named as according to their scientists also, or as according to their doctors which have discovered. So C is the correct answer, which is also called the Symes amputation, that is called the amputation of the ankle joint. Which of these is not related to the abducted gait deviation? Prosthesis too long, short stump length, socket too small, suspension belt may be insufficient. So that is the correct answer is the short stump length. Now, which knee is the most stable? Which knee unit is the most stable? Manual locking knee, pneumatic knee, hydraulic knee, or all the above? So, manual locking knee is the most stable knee unit. As the length of the residual limb increases, what improves? Function alone, prosthetic control alone, both function and prosthetic control, aesthetic control. So if the length of the residual limb is increased, then both function and the prosthetic control is improves. To ensure a sufficient lever arm for effective prosthetic control, at least how many inches of the tibia are required? 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5, 5 to 6. So this is the sufficient lever arm for if we go for that, that 5 to 6 is the sufficient lever arm for the effective prosthetic control. So this is all about the prosthetic stage and the gait training. Now you can go for the references for the Susan Sullivan Physical Rehabilitation book, 5th edition, or the newest edition if you have that. Stuart Porter, Tidy's Physiotherapy, Anne Thompson's Tidy Physiotherapy, Bella Jame, Amputation and Prosthetic is also a good book for the case study. John Kirkup, A History of Limb Amputation, Adric Christine, and that is for the lower limb amputation. So these all the book you can go for the reference. So thank you so much. If you have any doubt, you can type your messages in the comment box. So this is Dr. Ruchika Pal, Assistant Professor in Suresh Gan Vihar University. Thank you so much.